Okay, what's up, guys? Rackz here back with another interview with another boxer, and today we have super lightweight slash welterweight contender Ryan Cowboy Karl, and also we have Mike here as well. So Ryan, how have you been doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing great. Just hanging out, spending time with the family. But I've been training real hard, staying in shape, trying to be the best I can be.
That's good. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. So, hopping straight into the questions, how did it feel to be a co-main event on, as big as a pay-per-view of, Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz? How did it feel to be the co-main event on that pay-per-view?
Oh man, it was pretty cool. It was didn't really realize, wasn't so much. It was cool at first. Like when I first found out how big a card I was on, it was pretty cool. But then whenever I got there, and it's like all it became more surreal, and it didn't really hit me until after the fight was even over, how big a card I was just on. You know.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Speaking of Mario Barrios or Barrios, who do you think wins that fight between him and Tank Davis?
I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think that Tank's gonna give him a lot of trouble with his just his stature, everything. I don't know that Mario does real well with the guy as short as him, and I don't know that Mario has a jab good enough to keep him off of him. And It all depends on if Tank has enough power going up to 140. And if he has the same kind of power going up to 140, I think Tank will stop him in the middle to late rounds. But if not, Mario can't fight. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mario can fight. I just think Tank is an exceptional fighter. And but it all depends on how he transfers up to 140 pounds. I mean, he's already a big 130, big 135. I mean, he comes in heavy. He blows up his weight, stuff like that. He's not a small guy. He's just short. For the weight class, he's just going to be short. But that's not necessarily going to hurt him. It's going to give him kind of a different angle, different way to fight people.
Especially since he's a southpaw.
He's a southpaw. He's got a big left hand, big left uppercut. He's got good head movement. People don't give him enough credit for how good of a boxer he actually is. People just think of him as nothing but a power puncher, but he slips a bunch of punches. He's going to be hard to hit anyways. He's already shorter. He's a smaller target. And, it all comes – and personally, I don't think Mario has a jab good enough to keep him off of him if Tank really wanted to come get him.
Yep.
It's all going to come down to power, in my opinion. If Tank has the power to do it or doesn't have the power, that's where the difference is going to be. It all comes down to if he can carry it up.
Yep.
What do you
Go ahead, Mike.
What do you think of Mario's power? Do you think he has enough to stop Tank, or you think it all comes down to Tank's?
Well, as far as Tank goes and how he's going to look, it all comes down to him. Like, in my opinion, the fight comes down to Tank. I don't think that Mario is going to give Tank any issues unless Tank can't hurt him, essentially, right? So Mario, he can punch, right? He dropped me in the 6th round. And with the punch I didn't see, I came in. I got careless at 6th round talking. I came in and we kind of on our game plan. We were following it pretty well, but we kind of started the next part of our game plan a couple rounds too early, and that was my downfall. And I got hit with the punch I didn't see. The right hand clipped me, hurt me. Got up, I recovered. Boom, headbutt. And so I can't really tell you what his power is like. So after the headbutt really did jack me up. Before that, Mario didn't hit me with nothing to where I thought that he was, man, this guy can punch. I never thought that Mario was. I never felt that way in the fight. I was never like, oh man, you got to watch out for that right hand, or this guy can really crack, or you got to be real careful. I never felt that way with him with anything he hit me with. And him hit that punch I didn't see, dropped me. Obviously, he can punch. Anybody can hit. Something you don't see. That's what's going to hurt you almost always. But so he can punch. Don't get me wrong. He's not like throwing pillows out there. But he's not a huge puncher either. He's not a huge puncher either. I've sparred a lot of guys that I think are a lot stronger than Mario, and things like that. And but he's a very good. I think he's a very good fighter, and he stuck to his game plan better than I did. He was more patient than I was. But as far as that goes, I don't think Mario's gonna in the fight. It don't really matter about Mario's power.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it kind of does. It depends what Tank can take, but I think Tank's gonna have his head moving on point. He's going to be able to move. He's going to have all that on point. He's not going to come in there like a lot of people think he's going to come in there and try to slug with this guy. Yeah, people think he's going to come there and slug with this guy. They're crazy. Tank don't come in there and try to slug with anybody anyways. He's not no Mickey Ward or Arturo Gatti. He's not a take 2 punches to give you one. You know, that's not him. That's not him. He's gonna be slick, and he's got that left hand that he's going to try to set you up with all through the night. He's going to try to walk you into things, hitting you with that left uppercut or hitting you with the straight left hand. Those are just going to be things he's trying to do. I think that's going to be the difference. If Tank's power comes with him, it's going to change the whole fight.
Yep. So my next question on this is, when you come into a fight, you know, you're one of my favorite fighters to watch because of how entertaining you make your fights. So my question is it your opponent that, you know, starts the brawling? Or is it you? Do you come into the fight, you know, ready to brawl? Or is it, you know, more of your opponent starts and you're like, I'm going to go with the flow?
Yeah, like, okay, so let's go. Let me tell you about the Mario fight, right? So I get this cut. And I get this cut, and I can't see nothing out of my right eye. I got blood down in my right eye. All I see is red. I just see red in my right eye. I can see out of my left eye, but I'm dazed from that headbutt. Really dazed me hard. And I tell myself, Ryan, you're going to get knocked the hell out, or you're going to fight like hell, or you're going to get knocked the hell out. You ain't got no choice, right? And I like to fight anyways. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm making excuses for myself. I like to fight anyways, probably too much. Well, I know too much. And so I just started fighting. You know, I just go in there rough and tough. Let's go, you know.
Yep.
And at that point in that fight, I'm like that. And that's where I made another mistake, right? So if I was to look at it like a veteran should have looked at it, I'm not a veteran, but I guess I should consider myself one now that I'm learning stuff. But I should have taken my time, used my jab, moved, made it through the round, and got the cut. Try to see if they could stop the bleeding. In that way, I could see and I could continue to fight, you know, and stick to the game plan instead of just going balls out and trying to, you know, just trying to be some kind of big brawler, you know, when I can't even see anyways. And so it was just kind of, I used to have Kenny Weldon used to tell me, your pride will get you killed. The crowd will get you killed, and your pride will get you killed. Being macho ain't going to do you nothing. And he was right. It's in me. I can't help it. You know, I love to fight too much. And so a lot of times I get into a brawl, and I come back to the corner, and my dad says, what are you doing? You know, what's wrong with you? We come here to box. Use your damn jab. We've been working on this the whole time. What are you doing? Why are you fighting with this guy? You don't need to fight with this guy. You want to knock him out? Use your jab. You'll knock him out. And I can't even tell you how many fights he's told me that in, and how he was right in every one of them.
Yep.
And makes a big difference. You know, just listening and things like that.
Yep. So, Mike, what is your next question?
My next question is, what did you think about this past Saturday? What did you think about the unification fight between Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez?
Oh, I thought it was a really good fight. You know, Josh Taylor made his debut on Carl Frampton whenever he was fighting, I think it was Gonzalez. I was on the card in El Paso.
Yep, I remember that.
I met Josh Taylor and Conrad Cummins, and me and Carl, all of us hung out most of the night after the fight. And a real good fight and everything. And Josh Taylor was a real nice guy. Got along with him pretty well. He told me, he says, me and you, we're going to fight someday. I said, good. He said, yeah, but I'll never forget. He told me, me and you, we're going to fight someday. I said, all right, you know, good. I hope so. I'm going to beat you up. And so, you know, just playing around. Not really, though. But I like the fight. It was a good fight. It was an exciting fight. It was you know, Ramirez done what he normally does. You know, he came in and he was a little bit too lazy on the brakes, where Josh Taylor was throwing punches in the brakes every time. You know, clipped with that left hand, man. Clipped him right
that
there.
was a nice left hand.
Lazy in the brake. Yeah, he's real lazy in the brake.
I felt like that Ramirez, when he was using his jab, it was working really good. He should have used his jab more to set up his punches. Like, I felt like he was kind of just like trying to go in there.
Oh man, so Ramirez, it was a close first round. Arguably lost the first round. He won the second, third, fourth, and probably the fifth as well. Like he was rolling, he was looking good, and he started. All of a sudden, he starts reaching. He gets overexcited, and I know this happens because I do it. I do it also. I get overexcited in a fight. You're wanting to beat this guy up so bad, or not necessarily like an anger thing or nothing, but you're just wanting to go get him. You're hyped up. And he starts reaching for this guy. And that's exactly what Taylor needed. He's taking his half step back. He's stepping out, coming back in, stepping out with that left hand. And that's what he did. He stepped out, clipped him coming in while he was while he was reaching. But the whole time while he was using his jab, he was looking great body work, everything. Until then. And even he recovered pretty good from that knockdown. I was pretty surprised. He recovered real well from that knockdown. But that other knockdown on the clinch, I thought he was going to get stopped. After the second knockdown, after he got clipped, how hurt he was, I thought he was going to get stopped. I was impressed. I was really impressed at how he recovered after the first one. The second one, I thought that was it. And he never did, in my opinion, recover from it. He was real cautious. Even after the first knockdown, he stopped fighting like he was earlier. He was real cautious for a little while. Then he starts fighting more, and then he gets real lazy in the breaks. Now, I think Bayless did too much and things like that. And but in the end of the day, you've got to remember, you've got to protect yourself at all times.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no second chances.
Yeah, I felt like that first one, like you said, he recovered pretty well after the first knockdown. Like it looked like a little flash one, but he got caught. But that second one was just. Oof.
It jacked him bad. I thought that was it. Now, I thought that if he gets up, he's going to be staggering, and he was really all steady on his feet. And then he just didn't have it after that. He was, and I know what it's like. Get buzzed pretty hard like that, but not like he was buzzed right there, so to say. But he was buzzed. I didn't think he was going to make it through the round, and then the next round, I thought Josh Taylor was probably going to come jump on him and try to eat him up at that point.
Yep.
But Ramirez did what he was supposed to do. Whenever he tried to come in there and jump on him, he fought like hell. He threw hard punches. And nobody ever knows how to deal with you, even when you're hurt, is when somebody comes in there and tries to jump on you when you're hurt, and all of a sudden you're just throwing some bombs. And people are like, hold on, I might want to take it slow.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a bad idea. This might be something I don't want to rush into. And he does. He throws a big old strong punches right whenever he tries to jump in there on him. And if he didn't, he would have got ate up. He would have got stopped. But he does, and he continues to fight. Because Josh Taylor now is like, I'm already winning this fight. I might want to be a little bit cautious and just keep doing what I'm doing. And it's going to happen like I want it to happen.
And he hurt his hand. I heard Josh Taylor. He said he hurt his hand during the fight too.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to hurt your hands. I think I hurt my hands every fight, and it's just
a part of the game.
Kind of comes with the territory. I think at this point.
Okay.
Yep. So my next question is, what we seeing you fight in, 6 rounds, 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 10, and in your last bout 12. Which one of those is your favorite?
12, of course, because I'm gonna get paid the most. And, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to it, that's what it's about. Yeah, that's right. You're fighting for a title. You're fighting 12 rounds. You're fighting for a title. That's what you want to do. That's where you want to be. I don't. If you had a choice, that's where you would be every fight, is a 12-round fight. And so I have a choice. I know the one I dislike the most is a 4-round fight. I slip in there, and the referee calls it a knockdown, which I had happen early in my career. Mm-hmm. I had a slip, and the referee calls it a knockdown, and now you better beat the hell out of this guy for all them 3 rounds, or you're gonna be in bad shape. You know what I mean? But the guy you shouldn't even have done this with. I remember that I slipped. He called it a knockdown. I said I slipped. He said, and after the fight, he told me he realized that I did slip, and I beat that guy up so bad. I was trying to stop him so bad. I was so upset. Mm-hmm. And it happens. But a 4-round fight is dangerous, just dangerous for anybody. You have any kind of mistake, there's no recovery. Of course, the longer the fight, the better the fight, in my opinion.
Yep.
So,
go ahead, Mike.
Who do you think, besides yourselves, who do you think are the top fighters at 140?
Zapata, of course, Ramirez, he's right there. I mean, he loses to Josh Taylor, who's arguably the best fighter in the division. But it's not arguably, he is the best fighter in the division. He's a unified world champion. You can't argue with him. Regis is the top fighter.
Yep.
Mario Barrios is up there as well. You've got guys like Barbosa Jr. He can box. He's a good boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 140, really? Baron Kike, I don't think we're going to see him fight again personally.
Yeah.
He had that fight with Zapata. It was a great fight, hell of a fight. I think that kind of took the starch out of him, though. I don't think we're going to see him fight again.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage in that fight.
Yeah, it's probably best, to be honest with you. He really did. He took an ass. I mean, both of them really were in a fight, but he really took an ass and took a hard knockout. I don't foresee that happening. I don't foresee him fighting no more, and just personally. But those are some good fighters you got right there. I'm not going to start mentioning much UK guys because I don't really know them, to be honest.
Yep.
And but you got guys. Josh Taylor, he can fight. Ramirez can fight. Jose Zapata, he's a good boxer, but Zapata is he kind of rises to the level of his opponent. He's nothing spectacular. He's not really impressive unless you've got somebody really impressive pushing him. He's not going to be impressive on his own. We've seen him fight Kendo Castaneda. We've seen him fight Hank Lundy, and they're boring fights.
Yeah.
I mean, just boring. Put you to sleep. And if you're looking for a fan-friendly fighter, it isn't him. Unless you put him in there with the dog like Baron Kike, Ivan, or something like that, and he don't have a choice. He's got a fighter. He's going to get knocked the hell out. Then it's a good fight. Ramirez fight was a good fight because the way Ramirez fights. And he can rise to the occasion. Like with Ramirez, he almost got to the point, he could have almost been there. But in those last championship rounds, he didn't have it. He just didn't have it right there at the end where Ramirez did. And so he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's definitely, in my opinion, he's not going to be top 2 to 4.
Yep. So
Regis is always dangerous. Regis can punch. I sparred Regis the whole time. A whole bunch. Amateurs, we sparred all the time, and they quit sparring us. When we got the pros after about 5 pro fights, they stopped sparring with me. And but Regis can punch. He's a good fighter. I like Regis a lot. We've always got along real well, and both a lot of the same kind of mentalities and stuff like that. So, I like Regis a lot, and he's definitely gonna be closer to the top.
Yep.
For those reasons.
So, my next question is, I have 2 questions, actually. Is there a chance that you can move back up to welterweight?
Would I? Yeah, for the right money, for the right fight, of course, no doubt. For the right opportunities. I'm not too small. I'm not too big for 140, and I'm not necessarily too. I'm a big 140, and I'm not a real small 47. So, it makes I could do it for the right opponent and everything like that. We were offered to Omar Figueroa for 140. He turned us down and decided to go to 47. We were offered to a couple of Floyd fighters, a 17-0 and an 18-0 for the Davis Mario card.
Yep.
And they both turned us down. And so now, I'm going to fight June 19th in Houston on Jamal's card.
Oh, yeah, I know you're going to like that because you're from Houston.
Yeah, I'm right over here. So I don't really even have an opponent yet because, we're like 4 weeks out, 3.5 weeks out, but I don't have an opponent because I don't have anybody to my contract. And so, people do it for different reasons. Risk and reward, things like that. It all comes down to it's a business. It all comes down to being a business. I'm not saying nothing about anybody, but so we'll see. We'll get somebody in the ring anyways, nonetheless. But I can fight 40 or 47. We wanted the Mario Barrios rematch. We were told we were going to get it. We wanted it. Al called right after the fight, said it was too close for a headbutt to decide like that. Clash your heads and stuff. Want the rematch. Mario said he's vacating 140, going to 47. So we can't get their rematch. You don't want to fight me at 47, and then about a week later he's fighting,
Tank.
at 40. So
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's money. I don't blame him for fighting Tank. It's a big fight. It's money. I mean, it's what I wanted.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna dog somebody for making a smart business decision either.
So yeah, for some reason it's saying like remaining meeting time. It's only saying like 8 minutes left. So if the meeting does close out, then I'll make a new meeting real quickly, and then I'll invite you guys right back to it. But the next question that I have is, did you hear about Esports Boxing Club?
About who? Sorry.
It's this new boxing game. One hasn't been out in 10 years.
Yeah.
Do you have any intention to be in it?
I haven't even thought about it, to be honest with you. I haven't even thought about it. It hasn't crossed my mind. And that would be pretty cool, though. It should cross my mind. I should have thought about it. But I should think about it. But it hasn't. And, it'd be pretty neat. But they have to give me a Cowboy half for me to be in it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so go ahead. Mike, you got any more?
Yeah, I do. I just got a couple more, but I just want to know, bro, like, wait.
You went on mute there for a second. But I'm just, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, my bad. I just want to know, what got you into boxing and what inspired you to become a boxer?
All right, so, I started boxing when I was 11, but I was always in fights. And, the first thing I remember my dad teaching me was how to fight. My whole life, the first thing earliest I can remember in my life is my dad teaching me how to fight. And, son, if you ever get in a fight, you don't stop hitting until somebody pulls you off of it. And my dad grew up real rough. And real poor, real rough and tough. My mom grew up very poor. Both of them dirt floor poor. And from Rackz, and from nothing to something, and they came up the hard way, and so we didn't have to necessarily come up like they did at all. But he still taught us those things that he learned, just in case we ever needed to know them. And so, he taught me that. I don't know, I was probably 3-4 years old. I remember my dad teaching me stuff like that. We had a boxing bag in our house. My dad learned how to. He boxed a little bit, but he was in a bunch of fights. He grew up in a bar. And he had a boxing bag in our house. He taught us how to throw punches on it, stuff like that. And I was in fights all the time. I'm a red-headed, freckle-faced white boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get in fights. People are going to say stuff. And with my mentality and my attitude, I was never going to be bullied. It's just how it was. My first reaction was to throw a punch. And, anybody said anything. When I was a kid, what was real big? Your mama jokes. Everybody wanted to bust your mama jokes. You know what I mean? Anybody ever said something about my mom or my daddy always told me you hit them in the mouth hard as you can. And there's probably a bunch of kids out there just trying to try out a new your mama joke. Got hit in the mouth for thinking they was just trying to play around. And but that was just anybody ever don't you ever let nobody disrespect your family. So I was always in fights all the time. My brother was in fights too, not as much as I was. I was the youngest. And so my brother wanted a box. My mama found a boxing gym in Waco, Texas, Waco Boxing Club. Where it all began for me. It's about 70 miles away. One way. We live out here in the middle of nowhere, right? Milam County, Cameron, Texas, where we were living at the time. And so my mom and my dad drive us over there. We start boxing. Only white kids in the gym. And always been that way to this day. And I see another white kid in the gym. I'm going to give him the mean mug because that's my gym. I'm the only white boy in this gym. What are you doing here? And so, no. But, it's always been that way. So we started boxing, and I just fell in love with it. My brother was 16 years old. Man, he could really fight. And I remember him sparring a guy that was one of the better kids in the gym. Like, first time sparring, and my brother dropped. Real power,
Wow.
And, but my brother liked to party. And so he was 16 years old. He was thinking about girls and partying and stuff all the time, right? I was 11 years old. I was too young for all that. And so I just fell in love with it. Just an individual sport. My father fell in love with it with us. It helped us get us through a lot of times. My little sister passed away. first thing we did after my little sister passed away, and it was we're all trying to get back together, doing stuff as a family.
Mm-hmm.
We go to boxing. My family's in the boxing gym watching me box, working out. We're in boxing. We're just keeping us busy, you know. And it was an outlet for us all. And so, just things like that kept us in it. And my mentality to never be bullied and stuff like that. And I enjoyed the individual sports, you know, running, cross country, track, you know, the state meets and summer track and stuff like that. I enjoyed all that a lot. I mean, I played all sports, but I enjoyed all those individual things where if you mess up, it's your fault, nobody else's.
Yeah.
And so,
yep.
And so I enjoyed all that. So it kind of stuck with me. You know, just something that I really liked and enjoyed, and couldn't get away from, even if I wanted to.
All right. So my next question, Ryan, is were you surprised when Bergman Algar, when, I'm sure you know his name, were you surprised when he rushed you? You know, I seen the full fight, and right out of the gate, he just came out swinging, 4 or 5 punch combinations. Were you surprised?
Well, I'll tell you what, that fight is funny because I was in training. I was training hard.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to spar at all. Like the last 4.5, 5 weeks, I had no sparring. All I was doing was working out, shadow boxing a bunch with weights in my hands. I couldn't hit nothing. I wasn't able to hit the bags or nothing like that due to a hand injury that I suffered in sparring. And whenever I was laying a punch, it was extreme, excruciating pain I had through my right hand. And so I wasn't able to do any sparring. And so when I got out there, I was just like a kid. Amateur, I felt like coming out there rusty, didn't spar. I was so awkward. I wasn't comfortable at all. And so I was reaching. I was doing all these things because I hadn't been in there sparring, and I looked like an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
Even looking back on it, I shouldn't have fought. Is what I should have done. But I thought that I was good enough. Even at that point, I could beat this guy. And it turns out I could, but I got caught jumping in, reaching, got my chin in the air.
Yep.
So, that's what was bad. That's what I did that was really dumb of me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because in the first 10 seconds, the ref called it a slip. But, it looked like, you got rocked there, tried to clinch, and then, he pushed you or something, or you slipped while you were trying to clinch. And then, later, as you said, you with your chin in the air, you got caught. But that leads to my follow-up question. After that knockdown, you did really well. You recovered well, won the next 4 rounds. But what was going through your mind when, the ref came over to tell you that the fight got stopped?
I didn't know. I mean, honestly, I was fine. I was working. Of course, anytime a fight is stopped, you win, you're excited, things like that. But I felt like I was coming on and I was gonna hurt him. And it's funny, like your mentality. The referee. Whenever I got knocked down, right, I got clipped, just reaching in like a fool, and I jump up. The referee says, "Yo, okay?" I said, "I'm mucho bueno." And and I don't know why. I talk just joking around, talk some Spanish from here and there. Messing around with everybody. And it was like I was just ready to party. Is what I felt like. I was like, let's get this started. And I just at that point I didn't have any timing. I didn't have anything due to not being in the ring or sparring. My timing, everything was off. And for me, when I have no timing, I have to get short with my punches. I have to get short with everything, throwing my hands tight to my face, and I can fight forever, and I'll never get tired whenever my timing is like that, when I don't have any timing. And so I felt like I was fine. I was just just working. I felt like I was just working. I didn't have timing. I was just going to beat this guy up is what I had in my mind. I wasn't going to hit nothing. I wasn't going to land nothing real clean. I was just going to outwork this guy because I didn't have anything going for me at the moment, due to myself, the being injured and not being able to do that stuff, and still throwing right hands, trying to still throw right hands, even though they were hurt, just throwing them anyways, trying to, throwing them half as much as I should have subconsciously,
Yep.
But, I wasn't, I got knocked down and I didn't really think nothing of it. It didn't bother me none. If anything, it riled me up more.
Yep.
And, it's kind of just my mentality, though.
Makes sense. So Mike, you have any questions? That was my last question.
Yeah, I got one more.
Go ahead.
I guess it's kind of like a two-part question. I guess the first part is, who do you think would be your dream matchup? Like throughout all the boxers in history, who would be your dream matchup to fight?
Oh, my dream matchup. I mean, of course, everybody wants to fight Floyd. But that's a two-part thing why everybody wants to fight Floyd. People want to fight Floyd, number one, because he's the greatest, and number two, because they're going to get paid the greatest they'll ever get paid to fight anybody. So, it's all for the money. So, I mean, Floyd's a great fighter. Fights that I think would really be just epic fights would be fights like fighting guys like Ricky Hatton, guys like Arturo Gatti, guys like Mickey Ward, guys like that. I think could make some really great fights with. Not necessarily the best for your body.
But, that's going to be a slug.
The best fan-friendly fights. I think they would be some of the most exciting fights you could put on would be fights like that. I mean, you got a lot of guys out there, past and present, that can really bang. And really, what I want to do is I want to be a world champion. Nothing else matters. And at this point,
who do you think would be your biggest fight in your career? Like for all the belts, like all the marbles at 140, 147, wherever you decide. Who do you think would be the biggest fight?
Well, the biggest fight, of course, anybody that's like right now, Josh Taylor's huge. Anybody fight Josh Taylor in the UK, it's gonna be huge. That's gonna be a huge
Major
fight for anybody to get that fight. And a fight with someone like Errol Spence in Texas, someone like that would be a huge fight. And he's got some belts and stuff, and we're never gonna see Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. I've already decided that just ain't never gonna happen. And
who do you think would win between them?
Errol can fight. Terrence can fight too, but Terrence Crawford to me has better feet. He's got more tools in his bag. I don't know that Errol has the feet to deal with a lot of those tools he has. And but it's one of those fights where both of them can really fight. Errol's a big fighter. He's a big, strong guy. He's a southpaw, and he can punch. He's not like a real, in my opinion, watching Errol, I don't think of him as a real big, huge, devastating one punch guy. He beats people up. He hits them hard, breaks their eye socket. Kilbrook, fighting these guys, and he can crack. And you got guys like Terrence Crawford has such good feet, and on top of that, he's got such good placement, timing, setting people up, setting up different fighters, things like that. He's just I think it would be an all-time great fight. It has the potential to be a fight like that. I don't think we'll ever see it, and I don't know whose fault it is, and it don't really matter to me. I think they're just leaving a bunch of money on the table. But Crawford is anyways, because Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence is huge.
Yeah,
and he's still able to get these huge fights. So Terrence Crawford, really, he's the one getting blackballed. He's the one getting pushed out on these cards, on these big fights, because he can't get in on them. And anybody that says Errol Spence doesn't have the resume or something like that, I mean, he just beat Danny Garcia after coming off of a hellacious wreck. He beat Sean Porter, and Sean Porter, arguably the toughest guy at 147. And Sean Porter can just fight. Whenever he gets in there, he's rough as hell. He's tough. You're gonna have to dig deep to beat Sean Porter any day of the week. You know, because he's a dog. He's gonna fight. You know what I mean? He's about that life, and so you're gonna have to be ready to fight someone like that. And you know, honestly, I don't know that Terrence Crawford beat Sean Porter.
Mm-hmm.
I think styles make fights, and I think that Errol Spence can stand his ground good enough. He's big enough. He's strong enough that he can fight someone like Sean Porter and keep him off of him. But someone like Terrence Crawford, I don't know that he can stand his ground and fight someone like that and keep Sean off of him. Because I think you got to hit Sean hard. You're gonna have to hit him hard just to get him off you just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, a lot of this, one person that nobody's talking about is Keith Thurman.
Yeah,
and,
his stock dropped a lot after the Pacquiao loss.
Yeah, his stock dropped. I mean, it's not like he lost to somebody that isn't good or nothing like that. I mean, he lost to a literal all-time great, and so a living legend in Manny Pacquiao. And he just hasn't been in the ring. Simple as that. He just hasn't been in the ring. But he's someone also that I think gives most of these buckweights a lot of trouble and beats a lot of. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Sean Porter Keith Thurman too. That'd be a hell of a fight. I don't think he will, because I don't think Keith Thurman will want to fight Sean Porter again.
Yeah,
I think that's necessarily a bad fight. It's a rough, tough fight. You don't really got to be in. Why would you? You know, you can get paid just as good to fight somebody else. Why would he want to go pick out Sean Porter, who we know for a fact is going to be, you know, a hell of a fight?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, Mike, you got any more?
Yeah, just this one for sure, the last one. Just an upcoming fight. What do you think about who do you think's gonna win between Teofimo Lopez and
George Kambosos? Yeah.
I think Lopez is gonna knock him out. I beat Kambosos in the amateurs. He's a good fighter. I like him. You know, all right, I guess. He wasn't too happy when I beat him, but so he wasn't all that friendly, I guess. But he still got beat up. But I think Teofimo knocks him out. I think Teofimo knocks him out. I think it's gonna kind of come in the middle rounds. I don't think it's gonna be a first round knockout or nothing like that. I think it's gonna be kind of middle rounds. I think Kambosos is gonna fight. He's got a lot of heart.
Yeah, Kambosos comes to fight.
When I fought him, he fought hard. I just don't see him beating Teofimo. I don't think he's fast enough. I don't think he has the boxing skills to beat Teofimo Lopez.
When you guys boxed in how many rounds did you guys go?
I fought him in the ringside national tournament. So, first fight, I fought a guy out of Canada. Second fight, I fought a guy out of Oklahoma. Third fight, I fought George Kambosos in a 3-round fight in the semifinals. And I beat him 3-0. And then in the finals, I fought Kenneth Sims Jr. and beat him 3-0.
Yeah, Kenneth Sims Jr., he had a big win. Big win.
Yeah, he just had a big win. I dropped him in the first round and won the rest of the fight. Kenneth Sims can fight. He's a good fighter. He's got a lot of speed and have no power, but he's a good fighter. Again, you know, he's a good fighter. He didn't have a lot of power when I fought him. He wasn't a guy that you thought of as a power puncher, but it was a lot of it. He probably could be, depending on how he fought. You put 8-ounce gloves on, anybody can punch.
Yeah.
And but he just when we fought, he's fast as a cat.
Yep.
Point. I mean, he can move. He's real quick, and he just those are his things about him. He fought this guy Elvis the other night. Elvis gave him respect, like he could really crack. Things might have changed. Elvis did nothing, you know.
Yep.
Like he should have done. He's got the ability to really crack. What was he, like 11-0, 10 knockouts or something?
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything. I was real surprised. Everybody talks about him like he's supposed to be some kind of real special guy. And Kenneth Sims goes out there, and you've seen Kenneth Sims. He has trouble with anybody that really – all these people really give him a hard time that go forward. put a little bit of pressure on him, and you've got to throw a double jab. You got to throw your right hand or left hand, whatever. You got to kind of fight Kenneth Sims like that. And Kenneth Sims can fight. Like I said, I'm not trying to dog him or nothing, but Elvis fought him like Kenneth Sims can really punch.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So Kenneth Sims might have grown some power. I don't know, but like I said, 8-ounce gloves on him, and you got a lot of speed. You can punch if you know how to do it right. And but he just he looked good that fight. He did what he was supposed to. He ain't scared. He's tough. I've seen him fight in the amateurs and nationals in 2013 in the semifinals. He got dropped hard. I thought they were going to stop it. He was fighting 132. He got dropped hard, and he got up, kept fighting, never did quit. Fought hard, and did a real good job. And then next fight, he fought a kid out of San Antonio, Crescencio Ramos, and he really dominated him. He dominated Ramos. Looked really good, but he fought hard, had a lot of heart. That's one thing I remember about Kenneth Sims and those fights that I've seen him. When we fought, he fought hard the whole time. We dropped him, he got up, kept fighting hard the whole time. He fought, he fought real hard, had a lot of heart.
Yep. So, with that being said, the interview is over, guys. We want to thank Ryan Karl for sharing his excellent boxing knowledge with us and taking the time out of his day to join us for this interview. And yeah, hopefully this is not the last time Ryan Karl will be on the show. Hopefully after his June 19th bout with an opponent that is to be announced after that, hopefully he could come on the show again and, share his knowledge about that fight. But yep, it's been Rackz and Mike and Ryan Karl. You guys have any last words to say?
I just appreciate you having me on.
No problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, Ryan.
Oh, for sure.
All right.